How do I change that? Well, it's gonna have to do. It's whatever it is. So, today, a rather impromptu cooking stream. The only reason I'm doing this cooking stream is because one of my coworkers is coming back tomorrow, or she's supposed to come back tomorrow. And I kind of promised to have a rhubarb dessert for her when she came back. And I tell you what, I have missed having her around. I had to work with some of the guys from the later shifts, and they just weren't cutting it. Sorry, fellas, but y'all kind of suck. So, what I'm doing here today is, according to the title, is a rhubarb pudding cake. Now, this was a recipe that was given to me by my mother. She emailed it to me the other day, and I was able to get some rhubarb from one of the ladies at work. Now, I've had it in my fridge for about a week, on top of however long it was in the fridge at work. So, I'm kind of skeptical on how fresh it is. First things first, though, I'm going to go ahead and, since my phone is a little preoccupied, I'm going to run into the back room and tweet that I'm live doing an impromptu cooking stream. Not that it's going to matter to anybody but me. So, hang on just one. Whoa. 1 minute. Streams like a couple of my, I don't want to say friends, they probably are, but a few people I know who also stream stopped in the last time. Gailey, hello, how's it going? I'm kind of nervous because, like, the last time I tried to do a cooking stream, it turned out so well, just because the frame rate was really bad and it kept dropping frames. So I've turned down the, or at least I think I've turned down the quality of the stream. That way it's a little bit easier on everybody's internet. So the big thing for today, rhubarb. I mentioned earlier, and I'll say it again, I got this all from a co-worker of mine who grows this at home. And kind of excited, and hopefully the stream will actually hold up today. And hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing here, because the last time I don't think I had the camera angle quite right. I don't know if I'm cutting that too small or not, but that's just how I'm gonna cut my rhubarb. How are you doing today, Gailey? Hopefully just a little bit better. Sorry for your loss, by the way. I didn't say anything on Twitter, but yeah, I know how that goes. So I've already got the oven preheated. Much better than before. That's good to hear. I got my oven preheated at 375, which is what the recipe calls for. Eventually we'll get to there. But for right now, we're just doing a little bit of chopping. I've got all my other ingredients sitting out. I didn't measure any of them yet because that's just how ill-prepared I am when I do things like this. I think it's a little bit more interesting to stream what you're doing so that people kind of see it, because it can be either used for like an educational purpose or what have you. So I need 2 cups of chopped rhubarb. And got this great big old gallon bag. Ooh, still smells fresh even. And the thing I find is kind of surprising with rhubarb is that after a while, the leaves and everything of it become kind of poisonous. So you can't really eat those. And I'm kind of excited because hopefully here in the next couple weeks I'll be able to move into my new house. And there's a rhubarb plant in the backyard. So I have to do a little bit of work on that plant because it's been sitting there for a year and it's gone to seed. Drop that chunk. Does quality seem alright? Just asking, making sure everybody can see what's going on and hear alright. Because this is only maybe my 4th or 5th time messing around with streaming cooking show. I guess that's a better way to call it. I think what I'm going to do is going to cut up perfect quality. That's good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut up all of this rhubarb. I know I won't need all of it, but I have some freezer bags in one of my drawers here. So what I'll do is I'll take the rest of that rhubarb and I'll put it in my freezer until I need it for my next recipe, which hopefully I'll redo that rhubarb crisp since I botched that the first time. So my first attempt making a rhubarb anything and streaming it, I had the misfortune of having some internet issues and it kept disconnecting. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting this into the pan so make room for more rhubarb on my cutting board here. So it says to completely cover the bottom of this pan, this 9" by 9" pan, which is what I'm working with. So we got a little bit of ways to go on that yet. So these typically take a couple hours to stream when I do things like this. Go through the process of cutting everything. I don't know if it was. Cut that end up like that. Oh, come on, you. There. But no, I'm pretty excited. Things are going pretty well here. I honestly don't have much to talk about. So What are good topics for conversations here? I'm going to talk about video games. I've been trying out Tom Clancy game here the last couple days. I've been playing on the PC because of the Steam summer sale. I got it for like $18. Ghost Recon Wildlands. And I've been having fun with that, with the exception of about the last half hour I was messing with it. I just kept getting beaten up. It's like, what's that? No, they go from like 6 or 7 guys to a whole squad. And what it was just like a private military come in and start putting a whooping on me. I think maybe just a couple more pieces of rhubarb. And we should be able to move on to the next step. I should have been rinsing this whole time, but this is really more for the benefit of one of my coworkers at work. Promised I'd make a rhubarb dessert when she come back. She's been off for the last week and a half from surgery. So I'll be glad to have her back. Work's been kind of stressful with the guys from the second shift coming in and filling in. I think I mentioned that once already. So, I've got my recipe written down on a piece of notebook paper over there because originally it was emailed to me, and I can't use my phone to check my email when I'm streaming off of it. So I think we got a pretty good layering of rhubarb here on the pan. Yeah, we'll put one more in there, just to be on the safe side. So I may actually not end up cutting all of it because I don't know if I want to spend that time there with it. My biggest concern for the cooking stream today is getting to the baking portion, and I don't like to keep people just sitting around for 45 minutes or so while it bakes. But in all honesty, it's what I end up having to do. So let's put that in there. So Kaylee, have you tried rhubarb before? Are you a fan of rhubarb at all, or kind of familiar with it? Did you know that it's technically considered a fruit? So we'll set that there. Okay. So the first step is to cover bottom of 9-inch pan with fruit. Step 1's done. Step 2, mix 3/4 cups of sugar, 3 tablespoons of butter, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon salt, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a half a cup of milk, and a cup of sifted flour. So, we start measuring out some of these. Probably eating some of the other love fruits and veggies. Yep, they're pretty good. vegetables. I don't know. Personally, I'm not like a huge fan of rhubarb. I'm gonna hope that this bowl's big enough to put everything in. It says mix, so I'm pretty sure it should be fine here. Let me get this out of the way. That's new. Somebody was replacing the drip pans in my kitchen. I don't need this just yet. And I don't know why this is sitting here. Okay, so first things first, we are going to get 3/4 cup of sugar. Alright, so here's a half, and this may not be a big enough bowl. And there's about 1/4. So that's all the sugar we need for the moment. Put the lid back on this. Okay. 3 tablespoons of butter, softened. We got 4 tablespoons here. So probably shouldn't have put that away. Let me see something. Nope, not happening. Okay. I should have wiped down my counter as well. I'm going to use a styrofoam plate because I'm just kind of crazy. So that's not even going to work. Tell you what. I'm going to work backwards on this. There we go. Now I still got a tablespoon of butter left. Should, at the very least, have a tablespoon of butter left. I can use that for toast tomorrow morning. Alright. 3/4 cup sugar, 3 tablespoons butter. I need a teaspoon of baking powder, which is this glorious stuff. I should have a container of it somewhere, but for the life of me I couldn't find it. Yay toast, it's good stuff. Yeah, no, I don't know what happened to all of my baking powder and baking soda and everything from the last time I streamed. It all just kind of like disappeared on me. So I said, what, a tablespoon? Teaspoon. I need a teaspoon. Okay. Teaspoon of baking powder. That's the stuff. Put the lid on this and try to find a place to put it that isn't going to be forgotten here soon enough. I then need 1/4 teaspoon. 1/4 teaspoon salt, which I only have. It's a great big old salt shaker, so I don't know if I ought to just like pour it for the camera just cause. Probably should have poured that last one, or two. So there's that salt. Put that guy away. Now, for 1/2 teaspoon of extracts, which I only have vanilla extract, So my vanilla extract. Put that guy away. So we don't really have to worry too terribly much about poisoning all my coworkers, because it should just be me and one person tomorrow, so if anybody gets sick, it's going to be us. Which is technically a bad way of looking at it. Alright, so now I need half a cup of milk, which I don't drink milk, so keeping it in the house is kind of like... I know it's better to just leave it on the counter. And here I've gone and spilt some milk already because I haven't poured it in forever. Ugh. And it says mix, not beat, so I'm not gonna go crazy with it with the mixer, or I should. I don't know. Alright, so with this, we move on to our last ingredient. And you know what, I probably will grab the mixer. So things are going to be loud for just a couple minutes. It doesn't say how old. Come on now. Come on now. All these bags of chips want to fall, and that's not a good thing. So I can either mix it with this gizmo, or I guess I could whisk it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But first things first is I need a cup of flour sifted. So I wish I could get that 1 cup scoop in there. Can I get the 1 cup scoop in here? Oh, I don't know if all-purpose flour is what I needed, but it's what I've got, so it's what I'm using. Almost a cup. Come on now. If I had been smart about this, and I wasn't. If I had been, though, I could have measured this stuff all out beforehand, which might have been a smarter play. But I never claimed to be smart. So I actually just bought this today too, so I'm kind of getting ready to do a lot of baking on my own here too. So I actually am enjoying myself doing a lot more baking than I thought I was. Flour sifter? Mm-hmm. I didn't have one before today because I don't ever buy tools for cooking until I actually get to the point where I need it. And I'll be like, I'm going to stream today. I'm going to do cooking. And then I'll realize that it says, do this to something. And it's just like, I can't do that because I don't have this. So it's like the first time I ever did a cooking stream. I went to the store and I bought a $10 mixer. So that was a mistake, by the way. So I instantly regret that because I'm a doof. I'm actually just... I'm going to mix it with a fork. Kidding, of course. Same sometimes. Yeah, no, I'm horrible at that kind of stuff here. I want to try to get some of this out of the out of that. I can't believe I tried that. I knew better. I really did. But half the fun of like streaming this crap is doing stupid things like that, and I feel. So I anticipated it, and I knew better. And I did it anyway. Ugh. Oh, please don't everything fall off the fridge. So I'm just going to do this with the fork. There were better implements for this. I'm aware of that. But this is all for fun. Probably should have used a spoon. So or at least grab my spatula at the very least. Crap, I forgot to do something. This shouldn't take too long to get caught up on it, though. Alright. So we've got this made. Grab my spatula. And my little tool here. And I probably should be doing this left-handed, but I'm right-handed, so this is how I'm comfortable working that off there. I'm going to spread that out a little bit. So this is all going to kind of look like horrifying, and I feel like it looks horrifying. But it always turns out really well, in all honesty. I've only got just the one towel in here today, and I'm like not too enthused about that. So, that being the case, this is done. Poured over fruit, sifted flour, salt, extracts, blah, blah, blah. So, I need, this is, yeah, I'll have to use this one. I don't know why I set him over here. I'm going to push this back for just a minute. So I need a cup of sugar, which that's just half a cup. There's a full cup. Make sure I don't need this. Shouldn't. Okay, I'm going to put that away now so it doesn't catch fire on my stove. I need that to boil. And a tablespoon okay. And I'm using a tablespoon of cornstarch. So what this is going to be is I'm going to mix this up, and we sprinkle it over the top of the dessert. And what that's supposed to do is that's going to help with the pudding effect that's going to settle at the bottom of the pan. As if I know what I'm talking about. I typically don't. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm just going to grab another fork. I'm going to crush up these great big chunks of sugar that are in here. And you're supposed to sprinkle this over the top. So, we're going to work on it from there. And the baking process will take about 45 minutes once it's in there. But, I have to wait for it here. Okay, pretty sure that's good enough. So we'll bring this back into view. A little bit better view. We're just supposed to sprinkle this on the top. I don't know if that's how I'm supposed to be doing it. That's how I choose to do it. So this sugar is going to add some sweetness to the rhubarb. Although I think it's going to be just a hell of a little, like a bit too much in all honesty. So we'll try to just kind of like evenly sprinkle that out this way. I could just dump it on there, but it said sprinkle, and I figure this is the right way to do that than to treat it like I'm applying ice melt to the road or the sidewalk, which actually still kind of is the way I do that too. Yeah, no, for some reason I thought it was just too much sugar. And it's taking too much time. That's a heck of a lot of sugar. Said sprinkle, but I'm pouring it. I got impatient, so. Okay, so the last thing I need to wait for right now is I need to get some boiling water, which I set the water on the pot. I didn't tell you what I was doing. I didn't tell you what I needed it for. The water is actually to be poured on top of the entire thing. Just kind of like poured on here to help with the pudding base. And then once I've got the water put on there, we put it into the oven and bake for 45 minutes, which I'm just going to go ahead and roll up a chair. And if anybody has anything they want to ask questions about, or any like new games or old games, or you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Pop culture, anything. You're more than welcome to chat while we wait for this to bake. Because I would like to show everybody how it turns out on stream, as opposed to just getting on Twitter and saying, hey, here's how it turned out. Not that everybody won't like, oh, you faked it. No, I didn't. Alright. 2/3 boiling water. And that's boiling, believe me. Why am I nice and awesome? Who knows? I get the same question from my folks. They're like, who are you? And where did you come from? That's a little bit much. Perfect. I might actually use the rest of this hot water for some tea. Oh no, we don't want to do chamomile right now. Earl Grey, no. Ah, where'd it go? Alright, so with this hot water, we're supposed to pour it over the top. To kind of help with that pudding base. Okay, so now this is the part where, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven. And I'm going to pull up a chair, maybe make a drink. Yeah. Probably shouldn't have got so much crap on the sides. I wish I had a towel to wipe that off with. I'm just gonna... It's gonna be what it be. Don't judge. Nothing's wrong with Earl Grey. I just don't want to drink like anything that supposedly helps you sleep at night, because it's a little early. Honestly. Wonky Joe, how are you doing? All right, I'm gonna go have Google start me a timer real quick. I'll be right back. Hey Google, start a timer for 45 minutes.
45 minutes, starting now.
Okay, perfect. So, now is the perfect time, like I said, for some questions. I don't know if you've been here the whole time. It is caffeine. See, I don't know much about, like, tea per se. I like to drink tea, but, here, let's see if I can find it. Okay. You're avoiding real life? I would too. So this is the kind of tea that I like to drink. If it reads properly, because the way I see it, it says et nurg. So it's just green tea with white tea and honey lemon ginseng is kind of what I prefer to drink tea-wise. And I usually only drink it when I'm feeling sick. It is good tea. I like that a lot. So this next part, don't judge me. The dragon tamer? Oh, tension tamer. For your tea cabinet? You've got... Okay. Alright. So, this whole weekend has been, like, crazy. And fairly busy for me. With some friends come over and everything else. So this might be inappropriate, but... it's what it is. Mostly harmless. And I won't bring more than one. So, tension tamer. Okay, I'll have to look into that. And I'm trying to think, there was a store in a mall one time that I went to, and they had a whole bunch of tea. It was a store specifically for tea, but it was like I want to say it was the Starbucks of tea. And they had all these cool tea sets, like the ceramic ones, and like, here, try this. And I was like, I just threw that can in the garbage. Why did I do that? But, no, so they had all kinds of teas that I tried out, and they were pretty cool, but I was like, 120 something bucks for a tea set seemed a little bit crazy to me, so I wasn't sure. And I didn't commit the next time I went to that place, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go buy some tea and tea set, this really cool stuff, and they were gone. from the mall. That place changes all too much. But the honey lemon ginseng tea has probably been my favorite. I don't know what it was when I figured out ginseng. They're like, yeah, you know, it's good for you. Okay. So now I'll have to ask, yeah. Oh, now what? As we wait for this to bake for 45 minutes. Yeah. Has it been like super hot for anybody else here recently? The last couple days here, it's been 90 something degrees outside. And I feel like that's absolutely horrible. And I guess it's not a great idea for me to be baking at 375 degrees in my apartment when it's 90 degrees outside. So I suppose it doesn't help at all. So, I don't know. If anybody's like bogged down by the heat quite like I am, or if it bothers anybody else. Weather is a horrible topic. But yeah, we put the dishes in the oven, and I mentioned earlier that I usually only buy supplies and stuff like right before I want to start. I went to the store to go buy. What was I was going to buy? I've been to the store 3 times today, and it's absolutely ridiculous because I went to Walmart twice and then I went to a Hy-Vee once, which is one of the local grocery stores. And at the Hy-Vee, I bought a 9x13 cake pan, but it's got a lid. And I bought milk and hamburger. They had a hamburger on sale, which was really cool. So I got 1 pound tubes for 100 degrees, the heat index. Well, yesterday it was like 100. It felt like 115 degrees yesterday. And a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, we should all go and hang out." And I was like, "It's 100 degrees outside. I'm fat, and I won't make it. See you later, guys." It's a really horrible way to treat my buddy, but I was like, yeah, there's no way. But yeah, no. I ended up going to Walmart, and I bought my little sifter and a 9x9 square cake pan, which is the one we were using. The 9x13 is in the other room, because the last time I tried to bake a 9x13 anything, which unfortunately no one's going to see. The first time I tried to make the rhubarb crisp, no one was going to see that because the quality of my internet on that day was so horrible that every couple minutes I lost frames. And what was actually like a 2.5 hour stream was only like 14 minutes of actual video because it dropped so much, and I didn't even realize. But I was going to reach for my phone to check the index, and my phone's up there. Screw being outside. Well, the neat thing about this hat, my boonie hat, and I should call it my trademark boonie hat, but it's not, and it ought to be. I love this style hat. It's been my favorite style hat forever. And the best thing about this hat is if you get it like soaking wet, it still keeps its shape, but it keeps you cool. So I sometimes even wear this at work, and some of the kids are like, "Hey, look, it's boonie hat," and or fishing hat's what they call me. So I'm like not too worried about it. It's one of my favorite hats. I had another one just like this, but used it for Harley's teddy bear. So what's everybody been playing recently, if anything, game-wise, or watching any interesting TV shows? Because I've been playing the Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, and I watched a lot of anime on Verve with a buddy of mine who stayed over this weekend while he was home on medical. So I've been trying to stay busy this weekend, and for the most part, has worked out. So I'm not sure. But I haven't been playing any Minecraft recently. With the Steam Summer Sale being on right now, I swear, I think I spent about $50 on the Steam sale already. Because I bought Far Cry New Dawn and the Ghost Recon game. And I usually buy gifts for my friends on Steam too, but I don't think I've done that yet this year. Well, I haven't had time yet. So I could aggravate everybody's cell phones by saying one certain phrase. If you've got Google Assistants, you'll hate me. But I'll just kind of wait patiently. See how we turn out. Just finished Avatar, and boy, I missed out. Still no what? Oh, I can't read that last part on there. So, what, James Cameron's Avatar, or are we talking about, like, I don't know, Avatar: The Last Airbender? Because those are the two things that I think of when I hear the word Avatar. And I was hoping to not, like, stream another cooking stream from this kitchen, but I'm still here, so hopefully we'll change that in the next couple weeks. Whew, I whistled on the S there for a second. I think he's doing fine. No words. Oh! The Last Airbender. Oh! How long have I been on Twitch? I think my Twitch account's maybe 2 years old, but I first tried streaming back then, and I didn't quite have as good an internet speed as I do now. You still haven't seen the James Cameron one? What? You know, they're supposed to be making a second and third movie of that here sometime in the next few years. But, I just never quite could be consistent with streaming. And I go kind of back and forth between wanting to do streaming full-time and needing to keep my job. And I'm looking for a better job here. Something for, like, I went to school for business administration and accounting, and there's a position at work there for finance. So I'm going to be applying for that here as soon as I finish my cover letter. And hopefully I can get that job. It'll still be days, and I've got pretty good hours for my security gig right now. So I'm not, like, too worried. But yeah, I've been on Twitch off and on for like 2 years. The biggest issue I had was upload speed, so it was never very good. but I've got fairly decent speeds now. And when I move, I should have a fair amount of speed once I can get it set up. But only recently have I gotten into like doing cooking streams. I tried doing my shepherd's pie the first night, and that turned out pretty well for a stream. It was all right. Sadly, I don't like have the replay of it. And then the next time I went ahead and I baked a Kit Kat cake for my sister's barbecue party we had for her, and then things just kind of went from there. Where I'm trying like different baking. So I do kind of enjoy cooking, and I've gotten a lot better. There was I made like 3 other cakes after I made that first one on stream. So I just went crazy making cakes. You haven't seen Star Wars or Indiana Jones? Indiana Jones, I'm not a big fan of personally. Not that there's anything wrong with Harrison Ford, other than the fact that he wants no one to ever play Indiana Jones but him, and he's retired himself from that role. So it's like, well, what if I want a new Indiana Jones? You know, we could do. Because in the last Indiana Jones movie, we had, I guess I don't want to spoil it. Anyway, there's a way for to get around that whole thing that he doesn't know about or he hasn't acknowledged yet. But Alice has kind of given me an idea on a piñata cake, and I still haven't had a chance to try that just yet. Which, she explained it to me, is just taking like a portion out of the cake, filling it with something, and then putting that piece back, and then frosting over it. So like when you cut into it, you know, you cut into this cake, M&Ms or some other dessert comes out of there. And one of the guys at work, he thought my Kit Kat cake was pretty awesome. He's like, why don't you do like a Reese's cake? I'm sorry, a what? Yeah, do a Reese's peanut butter cupcake. Is it like just peanut butter and chocolate? And he's like, no, do the same thing, but with Reese's cups. Excuse me? I don't know if I can do that or not, if I want to do that or not. Maybe I should. Okay, so you do know. So maybe, and I've got boxes and boxes and boxes of cake mix here, which is fine, but I think it would be better eventually to make a cake from scratch. And I asked a buddy of mine who works in a bakery out at the Hy-Vee, you know, how they do their stuff. And maybe I shouldn't tell this story, but what he told me is that for their angel food cake, I said, man, is that like really difficult to make or what? You know, I would think it would be difficult. He's like, no, man, they send us packets that we just put into the tin and we bake, and they send it to us by the pallet load. I was like, what? So he's like, it was as tall as me, this pallet of angel food cake mix. As tall as my buddy. He's about 5'7", 5'8". I was like, and that lasts you how long? He's like, the whole year. Could you imagine getting a whole year's worth of cake mixes and like a pallet and just throw it in a pan and bake it? Boy, I hope they never find out I divulged that secret, otherwise I might get in trouble. This may be the last time y'all see me. I don't think they'll come after me. I'm harmless. Unless you bust down my door. Scratch is easier than it sounds. See, I did that with chocolate chip cookies on my 3rd stream, and they turned out phenomenal. I took half of them to the hospital and dropped them off to my mother, who is over on who works at the emergency room. And she's like, yeah, I gave them to the people at work, and they're like, where'd you buy these? And like, my son made them from scratch. Well, that's pretty good. Or, well, I hear they're very good. I liked them. I thought they were pretty good myself, but I guess it would be easier to understand maybe if I had just heard them say that they thought they were pretty good. Or I don't know. I'm really self-conscious about some of this stuff just because I want it to be good, and if it's not good or perfect, then it just feels like crap. But now I need to stop thinking like that because it's just done bad. Oh, if I had my watch on, I could see just how much time has passed. I probably could look in the corner of my phone, too, to see. How that's going. So what kind of stuff do you bake, Wonky Joe, at all, if you do? And don't mind me asking. Or have you? Like, what's the craziest thing you've ever made cooking? I guess that goes for everybody, so. Because that Kit Kat cake was pretty fun, and I like doing that one. Asking for big stories and then waiting for everybody to reply. I should narrate certain things. There I was, sitting in the chair, nervously awaiting texts from people across the internet while sipping a drink, talking to myself like a madman as the oven made a ticking noise. But we're just killing time for it in the oven yet, so it should be done shortly. And I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like, in all honesty, because I've never made anything quite like this. So it should be interesting. I'm going to go off to the side for just half a second and have Google tell me how much longer we've got on this before I can take it out. Keeps cutting out the sound? Oh no! Hopefully it's not an issue on my end. Rainbow cupcakes a ton in high school. Rainbow cupcakes. That sounds interesting. Is it just like a rainbow batter of cupcake mix? Or is it like the frosting on it, I wonder? Well, hang on one second. I'm gonna go check how much time I've got left. Hey Google, how much time is left?
23 minutes and 49 seconds left.
Boy, you're loud. All right. So we got 23 minutes left on this. Get my bottle cap collection brought back here. Lemon cupcakes that are very purple because of Emily. But they were so lemon, I made a sour face. Okay. You've got shit service, huh? You don't have Wi-Fi right now? Because you said you just woke up, so I'm assuming you dye the batter. Okay. With the food coloring. I got you. I did something real stupid with food coloring way back when. I was in college, and it was April Fool's Day. And I wanted to prank my roommate, so I took the red food coloring. I put it in the tank of the toilet. So, when my roommate came back, and went and he flushed the toilet, it ran pink. I had not used enough food coloring for the toilet, but it freaked him out anyway, because who expects pink water out of your toilet? So I thought it was a pretty decent prank. It was pretty funny. So, this recipe no internet yet. Oh, you just moved too, didn't you? Okay. I know that. I will know that feeling. Believe me, I will eventually know your pain. Because I have to talk to people. Sorry, I heard something. Neighbors in this apartment complex. No, because the house I'm moving to, it took me a while to figure out who I could get internet service from and how much it might cost. And I have to go 45 minutes from the house in person to this location and be like, hey, I need you to come over and hook me up with internet. Because there's only one internet service provider in this town that I'm moving to. And it's going to suck. So, not too enthused. Fake blood for a zombie movie in college. I made a lot of sweet stuff. Crushed iron tablets so it tasted more like blood. Zombie actress was very surprised. Nice. I've heard a good way to make fake blood was, a good cheap way was white Karo, or the clear Karo syrup, some skim milk, and red food dye, I think were the three things that I had read about. But I read that in Bruce Campbell's, I think the word is autobiography? When it's about yourself. I don't remember the difference between it. I know the difference. I just don't know which term I'm supposed to use. Autobiography, bibliography. But Bruce Campbell wrote that recipe down from when they were filming the Evil Dead movies. And he mentioned that's what they had used, and he became the object of desire of all the flies out there on set. Rightfully so, all that sweet, sweet sugar. But that brings me up to another question. If people don't mind me asking who your favorite actresses are. Be anybody. A-list, B-list. Somebody asks me that question, I'm going to, without a doubt, say my favorite actor is Bruce Campbell. And they're going to look and be like, who's Bruce Campbell? Have you never seen Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, Spider-Man? He was even in Spider-Man. He was in Sky High. He had small roles. But he's still my absolute favorite actor. Out of everybody. It's fine. Some people be like, I like Ryan Reynolds, or I like Melissa McCarthy, or Johnny Depp. Keanu Reeves is a big ticket right now because of all the the John Wick movies. I love the John Wick movies. Keanu Reeves is my number 2. But Bruce Campbell is and always will be my favorite actor. Just because his acting, the movies I've watched him in, they're always great. So your favorite actress, don't really have a favorite. Favorite actor, Simon Pegg, and Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's good. Otto is about yourself. Okay, yeah. But see, he's also written, I almost said wrote, he's also written a second book about himself, but that's recently. So I'm really excited because Bruce Campbell is supposed to host the new Ripley's Believe It or Not. And I am excited. I always kind of liked watching that when I was a kid. But it'll be even better with him as a host. I mean, he was in Burn Notice as Sam Axe, which that was a really good role for him. But, oh, I can't stop thinking about it. I think he's just really great. But how does everybody feel about all these Disney live-action remakes? Because I read an article the other day, and this might be a sore topic for some people, but Disney's apparently looking to have Melissa McCarthy be Ursula the Sea Witch in the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid, is what I read the other day. And I don't know. I think she's a decent comedian, but I don't quite care for the character she's played as an actress. But that's just how I feel about it. You know, everybody's got their strengths and their weaknesses, and it's a job, I get it. And then I think back why Disney's even doing live-action remakes, and that makes me kind of salty thinking about it. Because I have not seen a single Disney live-action remake out of any of the movies that they've done. Live-action, so their Beauty and the Beast, their Aladdin, their upcoming Lion King, may be the only one that I watch. It might be. I don't know. I'm debating whether or not to go to it. The Little Mermaid, I don't know if that's one that should be or not. What movie I would love, absolutely love to see a live-action remake of from Disney? The Black Cauldron. Kill it. Well, and that's the thing. She's always been in roles that are more adult and in movies that are more adult and not necessarily family-friendly. So I think it would be interesting to see if it actually is true, whether or not she can fit a family-friendly role. But I don't understand why they'd want to bring that movie in particular on. They're remaking everything. But I want to see Black Cauldron as a live-action movie. I loved it. And it was one of the darkest movies that I've seen on the Disney thing anyway. It's based off a drag queen. Really? Things I never knew. I might have to go back to the to that YouTube channel. So there's a guy on YouTube I watch for all of my like Disney stuff, things you don't know. His YouTube channel, and I'm just gonna plug it because why not? I think his name is John Solo, but he does all of these dark tales of like Disney movies. So he had a video for Pinocchio. He had one for Sleeping Beauty. He does all of these stories and looks into like the dark history of it. One of my favorites was the one with Ichabod Crane. You know, the Headless Horseman, Dulhans, all that fun stuff. And I've looked into some of that stuff on my own too, and I think it's pretty neat. Black Cauldron, absolutely. I think we've got maybe, I want to say 15 minutes more. I should have looked at the clock when I asked Google how much time we had left and started counting down. And I'm kind of rambling, which is fine, because we're just killing time at this point. I'm just going to add some more Coke to this quick. Pay no attention to the fact that I just rolled into my fridge. This is like super diluted now. I'm a little disappointed on the liquor front in that I can never get any Galliano, which I use for my Pan-Galactic Gargle Blasters, which, yes, it's a thing towards The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm a big science fiction buff. So, if McCarthy can get the backroom smoker vibe, or the singing stuff. backroom smoker vibe. I don't know. Hopefully she can sing, but that's all on anybody's interest to actually like see these movies, which a lot of people are very hyped about seeing the Disney remakes. And like I said, I would really be interested in like a Black Cauldron remake. But will Disney make something that dark again? Who knows? I doubt it, honestly. I don't think Disney will go there for that. Even if you had people petition, hey, make this movie, I feel like they'd be like, no, not gonna happen. Sorry, we make family-friendly movies. And it's like, this is a good movie. You got something to work with here. So, I don't know. At some point I probably should actually just like clean off my counter too. I will get around to that. Eventually. Maybe here in the next 5 minutes. I got flour on the fridge from when I turned on the mixer. But, I don't know. Movies and stuff. Another thing I'd like to see more of is, like, science fiction movies. I'd like to see more Starship Troopers, in all honesty. But that's me. I'm a big Starship Troopers fan. I like science fiction. But, we need to just wait and see how much more time that it'll take to burn through this. Give me a second to go ask my machine again how much time is left on my timer. I don't want to activate anybody else's phones. Hey Google, how much time is left on the timer?
You've got 9 minutes and 43 seconds to go.
Okay, so we've got 9 minutes. It is 15:27. 9 minutes from now would be 15:36. So at 15:36, that alarm is going to go off. When that alarm goes off, we go into the stove. The oven. Not stove. Stove is top. Oven is inside. And we grab the container, we bring it out, and we show it off. That should be about right. But until then, instead of listening to me ramble this entire time and try to pick batter out of my shirt, if anybody wants to ask any questions, if you have any more, I mean, I rambled for the last 30-something minutes, so ask away. It could be just about anything, as long as it's not like super bad. So, damn pinky. These are hard to direct and budget for, I think. Well, science fiction seems to be getting big again. In the lit world, I'm trying to think who, because I read a lot of science fiction books, but right now I'm stuck in fantasy. But there's an author I know of who writes really good, I guess the term is space opera. Those end up being kind of cool. With mechs and aliens and space travel and railguns and lasers, ballistic shields, stuff like that. Military sci-fi. He writes military sci-fi. Very well, I might add. You know, I still haven't brought myself to get a copy of your book. I don't know. You said it's on Amazon. I just don't know where to find it. So, tattoo on my arm. So I'll kind of show it off a little bit. It's a phoenix feather. This one here. And on the band, it's got 2 dates and an initial. So HR is my youngest sister, Harley Rachel. This first one is her birth date, and the second one is the day that she passed. So I got this a little bit ago as a memorial tattoo. And this first tattoo here, we ended up, the 3 of us, me and my 2 sisters, on National Sibling Day, unbeknownst to us, got this tattoo. It's a Native American protection symbol. So the 2 arrows represent the weapons, the native blah blah blah, protection, and the dot in the circle represents family and the unbreakable bond. So these are absolutely phenomenal. I had the same tattoo artist do these both. My first experience with that gentleman was the protection symbol that me and my sisters got, and then after much deliberation on what to do for the memorial tattoo, I had the same gentleman that did all of my sister's tattoos do this one as well. So he did both of them, and I credited him when he did it, and I was in the chair for about 2.5 hours, and I was squirming around because I just didn't like sitting so much. But I bet they'd look a lot nicer without all that hair on them. I just don't like shaving one part of my arm. But I'm probably going to have that same gentleman do my tattoos if I ever get another one, which I'm hoping isn't anytime soon. Because I know some people kind of go crazy with tattoos, and my other sister's a very good example of that. She's got her chest tattooed, her arms are tattooed, her legs are tattooed, her neck is even tattooed. She went and got a barcode tattoo on the back of her neck. And I told her a funny story because I was looking at tattoos online, and somebody had done a barcode tattoo on their wrist, and they put it up to the machine at Walmart, and it actually scanned it and registered it as an item. Like it was a legitimate barcode for like 80-something cents. So I thought that was pretty damn funny. But that's what this tattoo is here. It means a lot to me. It's been about 7 months since I've had the tattoo, and she's been gone a little over a year. Scared of needles, but scared to death of getting a tattoo. It depends on who your artist is and how long they've been doing tattoos. I actually have a total of 3 tattoos. The first of which I don't ever really show. My first tattoo was an arm tattoo up here of a phoenix with 2 pistols in the wings. Something I did when I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops. It was my little logo for that. So I've been doing this whole 2-gun thing since I was in high school. And I've been out of high school for about 8 years. So I'm not super young, but I'm not like super old either. I think I was 19 when I got that tattoo. That sounds about right. That the same day that I got my arm tattoo, when we were coming home, I probably shouldn't share this story because it's sad and it's horrible, but it's one of the biggest reasons I remember the tattoo. On my way home, my youngest sister called, and Harley called, and she was crying. She had let her dog outside, and he took off after a squirrel, and he ran out into the road, and he got hit. I shouldn't drink while I'm streaming and tell sad stories because it's just bullshit. Sorry about that. Going forward I won't, but it was a really shitty day for her. Anyway, my sister had a very interesting tattoo of her own. And I guess I probably shouldn't get into too personal stuff. Maybe I won't tell that story today. But, like I said, the only person she let do her tattoos was that gentleman. His name is Brad, and that's all I'll say. But he's the only person that I'm going to let do tattoos for me going forward as well. But I don't plan on getting another tattoo for a very long time. I'm always amazed when people do like an absurd amount of tattoos. A coworker of mine had a sleeve started, but alright. No worries. It's not a bad thing, but yeah, I'm going to avoid some of that if I can. I try not to do certain things, but when I do drink, I tend to talk a little bit more and say things that I know I shouldn't. Some things I know I shouldn't. Other things I know for a fact that I can't say even when I'm drinking. So let's see. Actually, that timer should be going off here in any minute. And I cannot wait to see how it turned out. I'm afraid to actually open the oven right now because I don't know if it's going to mess with the temperature at all. We'll wait. Just a couple more minutes and it should be good to go. There it is. Alright. Get this chair back out of the kitchen. I'm going to grab my oven mitt and my pot holder. Boy, that sugar sure did burn off there. Actually, look at that. That's pretty freaking awesome, I think. And it is gelatinous too. That's actually pretty cool. So, I probably should have wiped down that counter. I want to keep it in frame, but at the same time, I want to put it someplace where it won't cause a mess. And, show it off here for just a second. I'm going to go get that alarm turned off quick. And we'll see just how this goes. Hey Google, turn off timer. So one of the other things that I didn't write down on my note here is that it mentions to serve it with ice cream and serve it hot. Is it going well? I tell you what, you literally just missed me pulling it out of the oven. Tell me what you think. Does that look amazing or what? That's a good close-up. I'm stoked. I think it turned out pretty damn well. My biggest issue is I actually don't have any aluminum foil. So, you know what that means? It means a fourth trip to the store to get something to put on this so I take it to work. Or what I can do, your recipe, do you get some? Tell you what, like I said, I mentioned earlier, it's just me and my one coworker tomorrow. If you stop by and you want some, anytime during the day, you're more than welcome to come over and have a piece. Hopefully it tastes just as good as it looks. I'm super excited and so glad that it turned out well. So, you'll be there. Alright, well, I try to take my lunch at 11 o'clock. Sometimes it doesn't work because how crazy things are. I mean, I may have messed up just a little bit and should have put some more on there, and it burned a few places. But all in all, I'd say that this was a success. And I'm super glad to see that the stream actually like held up today. I didn't drop any frames, right? And have my own rhubarb to actually do it. So instead of having to rely on one of my coworkers to get it, I'll be able to get it myself. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take a few pictures, post them on social media. I'm on Twitter. If you type !Twitter in the chat, it'll bring up my @ I don't know, there's not an actual like link you can click because I didn't think about that. There's also Discord. If you feel like you want to join my server, see images, chat, all that good fun stuff, there's that as an option too. If you just type in that ! Discord. I don't have any mods today, and I probably don't usually ever. And I don't feel like running back to my computer and putting that all in there. So, today's baking was a success. And I mentioned it was a little bit impromptu. I wanted to do this the day before my coworker came back. I'm actually debating whether or not to send her a picture of it. Be like, guess what you're getting tomorrow? Or to just like wait for her to, thank you, Wonky Jaw. Wait for her to come in and be like, hey, check this out. I think that's what I'll do is I'll just wait. So I want to thank you all for being here with me. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream here. I wish I could send you all some of the stuff that I make. I really do. But if you want, let me know and I can share the recipe with you. As Naimon pointed out, I got it from her. So if you're interested, I can send you everything that you need, with the exception of materials. Until next time, you all have a good one.